Vikings doing some serious sniffing around at 3 potential defensive coordinators. All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupagus show. I'm One Bar, and Vikings putting in 3 requests for defensive coordinators. Still looking for that D coordinator. Still looking for a lot of coordinators.
And I am Lupagus, and before we hop in that, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the vids. We are closed in on 5,500 subscribers, and we get to 6,000. Something real nice to be giving away. Haven't come up with the hashtag yet. I think we will one of these days.
We're going to show up and make you a nice hoagie sandwich with some homemade soup, wherever you may live.
Wow, I'm pretty well known for my sandwiches.
Your sandwiches are gross, but what isn't gross is these, well, maybe they're gross. We're going to look at the guys they're bringing in: Anthony Weaver, Aubrey Pleasant, and Wink Martindale. Not the guy who used to host Card Sharks. A different one.
Yeah, I think he actually hosted that weird license plate game back in the day too. Yeah, well, here's the thing. So everybody was, thinking Mike Pettin was going to be it. No, Vikings are doing their due diligence, bringing in plenty of options here. Again, they're putting in requests right now, so I wouldn't expect anybody to actually come in and meet with the team until Kevin O'Connell's here. Why would they have this if he's not even in the house? But I'm guessing these are coming from him, guys he wants to bring in here. And it makes you wonder, is this legal? Can they do this? Or is this going to be something we're going to lose the 7th-round draft pick for?
No, I think this is legal. Why wouldn't it be legal?
Well, because he's still with the Rams. So if it's coming from O'Connell, if he's kind of like texting, Kwesi.
We were interviewing coaches before we even had a GM.
I'm just saying,
so nothing surprises me.
I hope we don't end up losing a 29 7th-round draft pick because of this. But let's talk about these candidates, because there's some interesting ones here, and some probably get you more excited than others. But I'm going to start with Aubrey Pleasant because I'm greedy. Aubrey Pleasant played his college ball at Wisconsin. He started at Michigan. He started his coaching career there, coaching defensive backs, which has pretty much been the story with this guy. He has been a defensive back coach. He went to Cleveland, started there as an intern. Then he went to Washington as an offensive assistant. So he's got experience on both sides of the ball. Then he moved to the defensive quality control coach for Washington. Then, and here's the connection with Kevin O'Connell, he was with the Rams from 2017 to 2020. And this was the closest he got to actually being a D coordinator, where he actually helped Wade Phillips implement the defense, kind of figure out what they're going to run, how they're going to run it, and think game plan against other teams. But again, he coached the cornerbacks there. Then he went to Detroit, defensive back coach, and a passing game coordinator. So he's still keeping this offensive part of him going as well. But I like the experience he has, especially coaching secondary, which is, looking at the Vikings, that's probably our biggest weakness on the defense. The fact he doesn't have any defensive coordinator experience kind of gets me a little worried here.
Well, and two of the 3 that we're going to be talking about don't. And, you bring up a good point. Our secondary, we don't really have a secondary. We have a couple guys coming back. But I like that angle where he's kind of that's been his bread and butter. But Aubrey Pleasant out of all 3 of these probably gets me the least excited. He also coached at the Senior Bowl. Was saying how great it was to get a chance because he's actually the defensive coordinator there. He was very excited about that. I just want somebody with just a little more experience.
Well, and I saw, when this was announced on Twitter, but was getting on him from being a Lions coach. We don't want anybody from the Lions. No, God, no, we don't want no Lions runoff coaches. I don't know. He was there. They had really nobody there, and he the team showed some life, showed some spunk. I think that's a nod to the coaching staff for getting the most out of the roster that was devoid of talent. So I'm not going to hold that against him, but yeah, face value, you probably don't want anybody from the Lions.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think he's probably the on the lower side of getting that job, but we will see. He has been a hotter name as of late. Another name that has been hotter, who's actually had some interviews this offseason for D coordinators, is Anthony Weaver, 41 years old. I remember him most for used to be a 2nd-round pick. He played in the NFL for a while. He's been a D-line coach pretty much everywhere: Jets, Bills, Browns, Texans, and has been with the Ravens. He was the Ravens D-line coach and run game coordinator. He actually interviewed for the Ravens job, did not get it, which I don't know. It's a little telling. I don't know. He's been there with a couple of years. He didn't get the job. It sounds like his MO is he knows how to stuff the run. So I do love that. His whole thing is he stuffs the run, and he's proven. And he is a guy that is only a matter of time before he gets a D coordinator job.
Well, so you got one guy who could help our secondary, one guy who could help us stop the run. Both would be welcome adds here. But you look at Baltimore, just looking at the team they play for. Would you say before all this, would you rather have a defensive coordinator coming from Detroit or coming from Baltimore? Everybody would say Baltimore. No one would say Detroit.
I don't put too much into that. I mean, look at the Sean McVay trade. Everybody came from Washington.
But you gotta
They all
honestly
came
answer
from
that.
Washington.
If I was going to ask you 2 weeks ago, where do you want a D coordinator to come from, Baltimore or Detroit? What would you say?
I don't know. They're neither of them in the playoffs. Acting
You
like
go back-
Baltimore. It's not 2014 or whatever.
Go with the recent history. You wouldn't pick.
I'm going with the next guy, and this is the guy I want, and this is the third one. This is Wink Martindale, 58 years old, has been with the Ravens since 2012, defense coordinator since 2018. He spent the last 4 years leading the Baltimore defense, a very, very good Baltimore defense. Everyone was surprised when they let him go. Look more into it. It was more of a mutual goodbye. It wasn't you suck, you're fired. He's fantastic. Martindale is the guy, 58 years old, and the best part about him, runs that 3-4, but not only does he run that, he blitzes the shit out of everybody. He blitzes, and he has been another hot name, and I would love him.
Oh, I would love Wink Martindale as well. When you think of the Baltimore Ravens defense, you just hit it. Aggressive, attacking. Even when they suck, even when they've had down years, they're still getting turnovers. They score on defense. They make big plays, and that's because they're always attacking, blitzing, coming after you. I would love Wink Martindale here, and you know he's been a D coordinator in the past. He's got a lot of experience, and you know you see the pieces here turn this defense into a 3-4, and maybe Michael Pierce can start playing like he did in Baltimore for the Vikings instead of the shit show we saw last year. But
Wink unhurt.
Well, Wink Martindale gets me the most excited of all these guys, just because I think he's got the experience, and I love the fact that he comes from Baltimore and that defense. And I want an attacking defense that isn't just sitting there.
Named Wink.
Well, that too. I mean, the Wink Martindale connection is huge. I mean, there was a guy named Pat Sajak who was a defensive coordinator. I'd probably want him as well. But our defense was just so, timid. You know, you look at the way you let the Lions just march down the field in the game. You give up. You just kind of bend over and hope they don't stick it in too hard. Let's come after it. Let's attack. Let's be aggressive. That's what I want this Minnesota defense to be. And
Wink Martindale, he sums up exactly what I was looking for. I mean, Vic Fangio was the one definitely wanted. And then you go to Pettin, who was a guy who at least had experience but didn't really tickle our underparts. Wink Martindale tickles the underparts. He's been around forever, been a defensive coordinator, has been through a handful of I love Wink Martindale. I'm getting a little more excited than I should, but I really hope he ends up being the guy.
Yeah, he's never been a head coach, but I think he's been around it so long. I think he could have some of that mentor ability that we wanted from a former head coach to be to pass on to young Kevin O'Connell. So I think he could provide that, even though he has no true head coaching experience.
Oh, and he's had interviews to be a head coach. I mean, he's been a name that's been linked to some teams in the past. But those are the three. Add that to Mike Pettin. I'm sure there will be more lumped into this as well, especially when Kevin O'Connell is official, possibly. We will see, but let us know in the comments. Any of these guys get you excited? How can Wink not?
Yeah. These guys get you excited. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but this is something that guaranteed is going to get you excited. Giving birth is the second worst pain. The first is being burned alive.